Starseeds, welcome back to my kitchen. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make an amazing vegan burger. And what I love about this burger is that it's gluten-free, it's seitan-free. So for those of you who don't like eating seitan because it's too processed, this is a great option. And it's soy-free as well. And it's made with like lots of beans and things, but it's not a mushy burger. That's the great thing about it. It's just very solid. I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway, I got this idea from a chef who works at Planta restaurant. This is in Toronto, Yorkville. So all my Canadian friends, hello. So what I saw recently is a video on YouTube where the chef from the Planta restaurant makes his special Planta burger. And I basically am dedicating this video for those of you who are in love with the Planta burger, because I went ahead and made my own measurements because he doesn't mention the measurements in the video when he's making it. So I went ahead and through trial and error figured out great measurements for this recipe, and it's just an amazing burger that I hope you guys enjoy. But before we get into the kitchen, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because you know that we are so dedicated giving you amazing plant-based recipes. So let's get in the kitchen. So the first thing that we're gonna do before we blend everything up in the food processor is we're gonna take 2 cups of portobellini mushrooms and we are going to fry them up in a pan. So what we're gonna do is add in a little bit of oil. Now this will just help flavor the mushrooms a little bit. You can use olive oil or coconut oil and just dump in the mushrooms. So all I'm gonna do is just give this a mix so that the oil coats the mushrooms. And I've used the portobellini mushrooms because, to be honest with you, I was a little bit lazy and I didn't want to use the big portobello mushrooms. So this way, you don't have to chop anything. You can just place it in the frying pan. Also, we want to cook this on medium heat just until the mushrooms are nice and tender. So it's been 9 minutes and our mushrooms look really delicious and golden brown. So we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna move on over to our food processor. So we're gonna be starting off with some canned black beans. Here I'm using 1 can, which is 400 grams. We're also gonna be adding in 1 can of chickpeas, half a can of beluga lentils, 1 cup of oat flakes, and lastly, we're gonna add in all of the mushrooms. So I'm not gonna blend this on high. I'm going to pulse it until it's mashed, and I'll show you the kind of consistency that we're looking for. So this is the consistency we have so far. It's mashed, but you can see the little chunks of lentils or mushrooms. So it's not completely mashed, but if you mash it all the way, and you just put it on, place the setting on full speed and you really mash this up until smooth, it's not a big deal. So both ways are fine. So I've got 1 raw beet here, and what I'm gonna do is just peel it. You know, you can always use a vegetable peeler if that makes your life easier. But for me, I just like to use a knife and just go around and peel off the peel. So I've peeled the beetroot and now we're just going to chop it up. Just cut it in half. You know, I love adding beets to my burgers because it really gives it that nice dark hue, and it adds a bit of sweetness as well to the burger, so it complements the other flavors. Okay, so now we're just gonna place them into the food processor. So we're also gonna be adding in a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 3 teaspoons of sea salt, and finally 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. Okay, so this is the sauce that I'm using for this recipe. It's a coconut aminos by the Coconut Company, and it's derived from the raw sap of the flower blossom of the coconut tree and handcrafted in small batches, so very delicious. Okay, so we are going to blend it up, and I'm actually not gonna pulse. I'm actually going to go full speed on this. Okay, so from time to time, you're probably gonna have to use a spoon to sort of take the mixture which is on the bottom and, you know, bring it up to the top and just mix it up. And you'll notice that there are still some hard, chunky bits. We don't want to get rid of those altogether, but we don't want it to be so chunky that the burgers won't stick together. And blend it up once more. Okay, Starseeds, So this is the consistency we're looking for. It's pretty mashed up, but still you can see some of the little bits of oats and little bits of lentils. So let's go on to the next step. Okay, so to a clean bowl, we're going to be adding in our burger mixture. And look at that consistency. I love the color and I love the consistency. You can still see some of the beetroot chunks in there. And it's just looking really, really good. Okay, so we're gonna be adding the rest of the beluga lentils. So all in all, I used 1 tin, which is 400 grams of lentils. And I used half when we were mixing in the food processor. And now I'm just using the other half on our last step here. So now we're just gonna mix it up. And I like this step as well because the beluga lentils, we're not gonna be mashing them in the food processor. We're just sort of mixing them in by hand. And this will also give a nice chunky texture to our burgers. So this is a high protein burger recipe that I'm actually really proud of. I've made these a couple times now and they're so delicious. And I'm telling you, the trick is that you don't want to form your burgers too thick. You want like a very thin patty. Okay, so the final step is adding in tapioca starch. Now this is a step that you don't want to skip. And I've seen others on YouTube use like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of tapioca in their burger. I've tried it, guys, it doesn't work. You're gonna end up with a mushy burger that just doesn't have the right texture or consistency. So I'm adding in 3/4 cup of tapioca starch. And obviously we need to really mix this well. And this will just make our patties nice and firm and also give it a kind of stretchy texture. Like it will prevent your burger from falling apart. And soon I will go in there with my hands because the spatula can only do so much. Just want to get in there and really massage your burger mixture. Just massage it until all the white is gone. And that's how you'll know that it's fully incorporated. So we've blended the tapioca starch really well into our burger mixture. And now what we have to do is place this in the freezer just for 15 minutes or so until it gets really cold. And this will help us, it'll be more workable once we're forming these into patties. And also, when we cook these, you really want the mixture to be cold and the pan that you're cooking in to be very hot, okay? So let's stick this in the freezer. Okay, so this has been chilling in the freezer for 15 minutes and now we are just going to take it and squish it between our fingers to create a patty. Now we want to create a thin patty. For those of you living in Toronto and you've been to Doomies, which is a vegan restaurant that has really delicious burgers, then you know that their burgers are nice and thin and delicious. I don't really like thick burgers. It just doesn't do it for me. So thin patties all the way. So I'm gonna be using coconut oil here to fry my burgers in. You can use any oil you like. I just like using coconut oil because it handles high heat very well. So make sure the pan is coated. The heat is high and now we're gonna add in our burgers. Now you want to cook this for about 1.5 minutes. You don't want it to get too golden-y. Okay, now I'm going to flip it. So now that I flipped it and it looks amazing, I'm going to go ahead and add some Violife cheese. This is obviously vegan cheese. And we're going to cook it for another 1.5 minutes with the lid closed so that the cheese can melt. Okay, so we are plating. We are going to place the burgers onto our buns. And this is the first patty. And finally, we're adding on the second patty. Oh yeah. Okay guys, this is such an amazing burger. And what I love about this is that it's gluten-free, it's soy-free, and it's all made with whole foods. You need your beans if you're vegan. This is packed with zinc and a lot of protein from all the different kinds of beans that we're using. And it's awesome because, you know, we're not using soy mince and we're not using seitan. So it's actually very, very healthy and just very delicious. Okay, so finally, I'm just gonna add some pickles because I absolutely love pickles. And that is how you make a vegan burger. Okay, so this is a very special burger recipe for me. If you guys try this out, please leave a comment down below and let me know how you and your family enjoyed it. So what I haven't tried yet is basically like barbecuing these patties on a barbecue. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I might have like a little party at my house soon so that I can try it out. But anyway, if you try this recipe, please let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you guys next time.